Welcome to ChristiTutionalist Politics, the kind of still quasi-Eric, I can't talk, experimental listener feedback segment, not a regular show, listener feedback segment. And I'm going to jump right to my guest, but before I do that, for the older folks out there, do you remember the old ad? I am the Frito Bandito. Well, we don't have the Frito Bandito here today, but he's laughing, so I think he gets the joke. We have Tino Bambino with us. Welcome to the show, Tino.
Hey Joe, how you doing? How you doing, my friend? Que sufa?
Like I always say, could always be better. Hey, could be worse, right? So before I complain, I try to remind myself that it could be worse. And you had expressed an interest in feedback regarding ChristiTutionalist Politics Season 1, Episode 13, so that was a while ago, regarding censorship on social media and beyond. I've got my notes here for those who can see on at JLenardDetroit, Rumble, YouTube, BitChute, Brighteon. The show notes, there's actually, if you go to tinyurl.com/ChristiTutionalist, that'll take you to the Buzzsprout place that the podcast is actually housed on the servers, and they allow chapter markers. And I have like 40-ish chapter markers of subdivided parts. Now, they may not be exactly timed right because a show lead in or a mid-roll ad might goof the times a bit, but they'll get you in to where about you want to listen to if you don't want to listen to a whole show. But my first concern and question is obviously, is there anything you think I missed in that show? You're muted.
Sorry, can you hear me? That was
Yeah,
weird.
you got muted somehow.
There we go. First form of censorship right there.
Yeah, it's the NSA again, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll cut out that dead air spot. Don't worry. It'll be
Cool.
in the video still, but I'll cut out the dead air from the audio format.
All good, brother. Yeah, I wanted to go more in depth of what causes censorship, specifically in social media. Because you focus more on mainstream media, but I'm focused more on social media and how, um, you know, the owners of these platforms censor people and how they do it. So that's where I kind of want to put more intention on.
Well, technically, the issue here, of course, is that the government is leaning on them, or
Right.
they were, fascist book and Twitter before Elon, right? But technically, they're private companies, therefore have terms of service that we supposedly agree to, though nobody reads it when they sign up, that they can indeed control the content despite the laws that say there will be content available to all provider. The law is not upheld. So, yeah, obviously they're picking and choosing what voice, what slant they want out there.
Yeah, yeah, and people forget first and foremost it's a business. So let me take Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook for example. He may have his intentions on Facebook or Meta, what he wants to do with it, but you have to remember there's owners, there's players, and there's controllers. And he's one of the owners, but the real controllers you may see are shareholders and real controllers like BlackRock and Vanguard, who own millions of shares on Facebook. And Facebook invested in multiple platforms like WhatsApp and Instagram.
Yep.
Right. And let's not forget about the other players or controllers, let me say, the three-letter agencies. You know, you got the FBI, the CIA, and the NSA. They're the ones who, you know, pry into people's lives. So the
Well,
truth is,
this show's not going to be able to air on YouTube now.
oh man, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned that.
No, as long as we're careful in how we talk about those, those little pricks for the arm, they're still pulling down stuff over that. But I was going to bring up with you the masks thing. I got censored all the time, even post Elon. My JLenardDetroit account with 250,000 following got suspended on Twitter after Elon took over, and I still haven't been able to get unsuspended. I have a backup J. Leonard author account there right now, but yeah, but time after time, they would threaten me with permanent suspension, but allow me to take something down, which, because I didn't want to give up that access, I would take it down and find a way around it by retweeting or quoting somebody else
Right.
saying the same thing. So there are more than one way to skin a cat at times. You got to learn to play the game a bit. But yeah, I'm still suspended on Twitter. A fascist book, my original account, since 2006, permabanned. I'm on there under an alias. And one of the biggest hangups was masks. So I'm not even going to talk about the thing in the arm. I'm going to mention masks because I didn't choose this hairdo. If you see me on video, bald head. I had leukemia in 2010, cancer, and the chemo made it come out. So I just shaved it ever since, saving a ton of money on shampoo and conditioner now, and all kinds of time not having to blow dry my hair, but that's another rabbit hole to go down. But my point being is, we've known the mask science for more than 100 years. You could go find the medical journals buried in the basement at your local library and read it for yourself. Just because Fraudchi lied about it didn't make it new science or true. We know most bacteria and virus gets through the surgical mask, but yet my doctors, before I was going to chemo or while I was going to chemo, was having me wear the mask. And my point was, since I know firsthand, the old saying, well, it can't hurt. Well, no, that's not true in this case. It can hurt. There's hundreds of years of science of carbon dioxide toxicity from wearing a mask unnecessarily, but yet they wanted to censor all that provable, peer-reviewed science. So is there anything particular that they've tried dinging you about? Again, let's avoid the whole shot thing.
Yeah.
What else have they targeted you for censorship with?
I don't know if I could talk about it, but when I was on Facebook, yes, the whole jibby jabber was one thing I couldn't talk about. But another thing was during the time we were going through the thing with Zelensky and Russia, Ukraine. I couldn't talk about the history of Ukraine. I couldn't talk about that Ukraine was auxiliary police for the communist Nazis. And this is history. This is stuff you can look up. But God forbid if I posted photos about any of that stuff, I got removed. I got silenced. I couldn't talk to people on Facebook. And that's the real reason why I moved from Facebook to Twitter, because I just got tired of the massive censorship. During the pandemic, I had a lot of friends and family that passed away, and it was really a terrible time for me. And I couldn't even speak. I couldn't say, "Hey, my condolences," or "I miss you," or anything. They silenced me entirely. And the crazy part about that is they didn't silenced me because of I was talking out about so and so. They silenced me for a old meme I posted on a group page years ago. I mean, they pulled a meme that I posted years ago. It was a distasteful meme. I get it, but I mean, wow, why would you pull that up at this time? And I did research, and apparently, a lot of the Facebook employees were off because of the pandemic. So, I guess they're relying on algorithm AIs to ban people, and that's just it was just a weird thing. I never thought anything like that could happen, but it was just a frustrating thing, and I'm
Yeah.
I just lost all respect for Facebook.
Uh,
I don't. I'm barely on there anymore.
I can sympathize because I noticed the same kind of bullshit. You know, old stuff from years ago all of a sudden is now a problem. But yet now you're not saying, well, this is now based on today's terms of service, not allowed, please remove it. They don't
Right.
give you that option. They just suspend you, pull it, suspend you, and count that as a ding or a strike, and 3 strikes you're out. And purposefully, willfully, and malice of forethought, looking for any garbage in your past that they can then consider a new strike, even though you said it 5 years ago. But
Right.
as to the whole Ukraine thing, my Terror Strikes book goes into the history. I've got articles on the whole 100-year history between the Soviets and the Ukrainians. And yes, there was indeed a point where the Ukrainians and that whole Nazi brigade thing, anyone who's dumb enough to wear a swastika on their arm for any reason, you're a moron.
Yes.
You're an idiot. You're a moron. But these aren't Hitlerian Nazis who want the Reich back and want to exterminate all the Jews. They seen the Nazis as a liberation force against the Russians, who had occupied their land on and off for over a century time. And people don't understand that context and get caught up in all this stuff. So, but I don't want to go too deep in any of that. But again, depending on whose ox's gore and what narrative someone wants to peddle that day, you might or may not be able to deal in those facts or not. So are there some Nazis running around Ukraine? Absolutely. Does that mean Putin should be able to invade California next? Has anybody been to California? I've been to California. I've attended, not to attend and participate, but in awe of attending to see the stupidity of indeed neo-Nazi rally marches through California. There are more Nazis in California than there are Ukraine. But again, I mean, that's a whole side subject. Yeah. Again, I mean, there's always a million different rabbit holes we could go down. But yeah, since we're talking about that censorship issue, it does relate, but I don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole.
Absolutely.
Was there any other particular thing from the show that really grabbed your attention, or again, thought was lacking somehow? Because I'm far from perfect, and I can miss something, or while recording, forget something. So by all means, this is one of the reasons why I want a listener feedback segment, to get your feedback. What did I do right? What did I get wrong, if anything? Because I'll admit if I'm wrong. What did I miss?
I would like you to emphasize more on how the Patriot Act and the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which allows just these government agencies to spy on American citizens.
That's a little, in part, they're using those to censor people, so it relates. And you're right. Actually, I didn't touch on any of that. So you're absolutely right, and I'm glad you brought it up. Indeed, the Patriot Act, and I was one of them in support of it at the time, despite our concerns that government always overreaches and goes beyond. That's why I only agreed if the Patriot Act would be renewable, which it was. The problem is there's been no changes. They just keep renewing it and illegally using it to spy on Americans. So the act itself, I thought, was a reasonable concern. But of course, there's always deep state agents acting against us true citizens rather than who the act was intended for. So you are absolutely right. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
Absolutely. I just think we just need more transparency, not only with our data, but also our personal information and our rights. We need to know what we're giving up when we sign up to these platforms and what they're doing to us, because we don't know. That's the truth. People think they know. You can read the whole sign up bill, but you won't know what you're really giving just to be on these platforms. And that's just the main thing, man. We're just in a new world, and I think we just need more clarity on what we're doing with our information.
Let me ask you: are you on TikTok?
No. Okay. Negative.
Now I have mixed emotions because I'm a free market guy. I believe in freedom. I believe people should have that choice. But at the same time, I want to protect America and American citizens. There is a security risk threat to it. So I think there needs to be more controls and regulation. As much as I hate government regulation, at times it's necessary. So in my opinion, I want to get your reaction. Banning TikTok is improper, illegal, and unconstitutional in a free society. But we have to balance that with the security concerns. What is your thoughts on TikTok? Because there's no doubt China is a threat and was using it. And they're trying to hide behind it's no longer directly CCP controlled. Well, duh. It's still, I mean, come on. Oh, can you hear me now?
Hold on, I lost you. Sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. You can't hear me?
Okay, sorry. My headphones just cut out for no reason. That was weird. All right. See, can you hear me? Check, check. Sorry.
Yeah. Check, check. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. It just that was weird.
Again, this is not the first episode that there will be technical difficulties in. And you know what? I will cut portions for the audio, but the fact that there was a technical mishap, I leave in. It's part of my being honest with my audience. This is raw, pretty much uncut. You get it as it happens. So give your overall thoughts and reaction to what you think could, should, or shouldn't happen with TikTok.
As far as TikTok goes, we all know it's controlled by the CCP. I mean, this is proven. This is facts. You can look this up. And the data currency exchange with the government of the Chinese Communist Party, it's foul. I think we do need to step in. If TikTok wants to continue to sell their product in the United States, they need to create a United States division that only servers are connected here, not into China. We need to privatize it so it's only here. And that's what they need to step down. Like, hey, you guys want your product here? Well, you got to follow our rules.
Well, supposedly they have restructured as such. I don't buy it. But at the same time, it's an issue of parental authority also. Now,
yes,
children do not have full rights, despite the left saying you can get an abortion or a sex change at 12, but you can't drink, you can't smoke, you can't fight. You don't have a full set of rights as a child. So we could eliminate all social media till age 18. And I'd hate to do that, but in a way, that might be the route we need to go. But an outright ban, now parents should indeed know better and keep their children, especially at least off of TikTok, as well as themselves. Now, I was on TikTok for about 2 weeks. I put 3 videos for my book up because I wanted to promote my books, and bam, then they banned me. It's like I put 3 videos up, non-controversial, just talking about my books, but they pulled the plug on me.
Wow. They must have read your books.
Yeah. At any rate, so these are supposed to just be very short segments. I want to thank you for coming on. Hopefully, maybe some other time we'll have you back to be on a full show to discuss a full topic. But as of now, I want to thank you so much for having tuned into the show and provided some of this great feedback that I need to hear.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Take care.
Thanks for having me, Joe. God bless, brother.